1374, SB 1399, and SB 1414. Those are bills that are going to be put over to our last hearing. The sergeants again have a final list of those. And reminder to our audience and to our testimonies, we're going to stick to the fiscal aspects of the bill. And I see Senator Nguyen is here with her buddies. Come on up, Senator Nguyen. Whenever you're ready, Senator Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Vice Chair and Senators. Today, next to me is our principal co-author, Assemblyman Ash Carr, as well. I'm proud to present SB 895 for your consideration. SB 895 establishes California's first model curriculum on the Vietnamese American refugee experience. As you can tell by the number of people with us here today, the bill before you has garnered widespread support throughout the state of California. We have with us today residents from all over, including, but not limited to, San Diego, Orange, Los Angeles, San Jose, Oakland, Fremont, Fresno, San Francisco, and so many more. Many of them have traveled overnight, and I want to thank them personally for taking their time here to be here to share their support for this bill. In addition to the residents here today, I am also submitting 6,940 signatures that have been collected in support of SB 895. I believe that the overwhelming support of the community speaks volume of the importance of SB 895 to residents throughout the state of California. Colleagues, as it stands, SB 895 will expand upon the current curriculum on the Vietnam War era by incorporating the voices of those who lived during this time, including members of the Republic of Vietnam Armed Forces and the Vietnamese boat people. SB 895 would specifically make available to a more comprehensive curriculum that school districts throughout California can access when teaching about the Vietnam War and the post-Vietnam War era. With the unanimous support of the Education Committee, I now proudly bring this bill for your consideration. In the last 4 years, the curriculum for our K-12 education system has been expanded through legislative process and actions. These actions help tell the stories of the people of the great state of California. Some example, in 2014, the legislature passed SB 1380, which helped educate students on the Armenian genocide. In 2016, with AB 2864, the legislature voted to support the creation of curriculum on the Chinese Exclusion Act. And just last year alone, the legislature approved AB 738, creating the curriculum on Native American Studies. All these stories are very meaningful, embrace the great diversity of our great state, and provide students access to a complete historical collection that only enhances their educational experiences. In 2015, after the 40-year anniversary of the fall of Saigon, it became apparent that the Vietnam War era stories and the generation that can share first-hand knowledge of this period were slowly being lost to time. These are the reasons that compel us to ask that you look beyond the financial cost and see the true value of this proposal. The committee analyzed puts the cost of the bill at $853,000 for staff time and any other potential costs associated with the development of the curriculum. Although I understand that everything we do here has a cost, it is important to remember that archiving history and educating our students has a value that cannot be measured by a dollar amount. The individuals that have joined me here today are not only proud and grateful residents of the state of California, but are also historians who hold valuable lessons that can only benefit our students. Colleagues, your support for SB 895 will elevate the quality of our K-12 curriculum. Our students deserve to have access to the complete history of the Vietnam War era, one that would help them understand how our history shapes our war view. With this, I respectfully ask for your support. I have here with me the Honorable Councilman Patrick BUＱI from Garden Grove, and also the chairman of the Vietnamese American Federation of Southern California, I have Mr. Greg Haskin, a community member who has lived in the Little Saigon area in Orange County, and his wife, who is a local school principal who has been teaching Vietnamese culture and tradition in the school for many years. Mr. Tai Do, a Long Beach police officer, who is here on his own time, who will be sharing some of his view of the importance of Vietnamese American refugees. I also have Ton Nguyen, Vice President of the Vietnamese community of San Diego, to also share some thoughts as well. But before they speak, I would like to ask the Assemblyman to say a few words.
Mr. Kara, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senators. Thank you, Senator Nguyen, for giving me the opportunity to speak in support of SB 895. I'm honored to be a co-author of this bill. I think that, certainly representing the city of San Jose, which has the largest Vietnamese community of any single city outside of Vietnam, it is of specific importance to me. But I just want to also just leave with the singular message that this is important for all Californians and all Americans. We see every year, every couple of years, we come forward as a legislature to enhance the curriculum that our students learn, particularly as it applies to history. And that's because, as we know, as history was written, it doesn't necessarily take into account all voices. As we have become more diverse as a community, as a state, certainly we need to make sure that those that are contributing as Californians and as Americans have their stories told as well. And so I think in this case in particular, speaking about the Vietnamese refugee experience, it's a powerful lesson, it's a powerful history, and it also speaks to a community that is ingrained in California and in America and has made significant contributions. I think not only is it fair that their story be told, I think it will enhance the education of our students, of our young people, to know more about their neighbors, know more about their fellow Americans, about the experiences they went through, as well as what they contribute to this day. And so with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote on SB 95. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Witnesses in support. Councilman, welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Chairman Lara and Honorable Senators. My name is Pháp, Council member of the City of Sacramento, where I represent 200,000 residents, about 73,000 of which are Vietnamese Americans. I was also elected by 40,000 votes to represent the Vietnamese community in Southern California, where some 300,000 people call homes. It's an honor for me to be here to support SB 895. As you know, after the fall of Saigon in 1975, more than 2 million people risked their life escaping in small boats to escape the brutal ruling of the communist government at home. We faced gruesome storms in open sea and ruthless pirates. More than 1 million plus people perished under the vast ocean, and those who were lucky to make it to the refugee camps were given a second chance to settle in this great land of America. We came here empty-handed, not even a penny, heartbroken, and very little English. But those humble beginnings taught us the value of hard work and giving back to the community. Many became scientists, and many of us joined the U.S. Army and sacrificed to protect our new home. Yet, many newborns of us and others U.S. citizens have no knowledge of the root of our humble beginnings as the boat people. And even that, this book that I brought with me here today was published by a Malaysian citizen in 2006. It was suppressed by the Malaysian government from being displayed in libraries because the Vietnamese communists do not want that. And you can see that the Vietnamese communist government is trying to suppress history. And so I sincerely humble to request the committee to cast a yes vote to bring this Senate Bill SB 895 to the Senate floor so that our history and heritage can be understood by the students and by residents of this great state, California. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support.
Sneaky. I'm here today to represent the San Diego community, and I am asking for your support of Senator Janet Nguyen's Senate Bill 895 Vietnamese American refugee experience model curriculum. The United States and the Republic of South Vietnam fought a valiant war on the soil of Vietnam to uphold freedom, democracy, and human rights against the North Vietnamese communists. Hundreds of thousands of U.S. soldiers and millions of South Vietnamese soldiers fought a valiant war, of which 58,000 U.S. soldiers died in Vietnam. After the end of the Vietnam War on April 30th of 1975, Congress and President Gerald Ford both agreed to pass the Indochina Migration and Refugee Assistance Act in 1975. This allowed for the Vietnamese refugees to enter the United States under a special status and allocated $405 million in resettlement aid. Today, over 500,000 Vietnamese reside in California, of which 40,000 is in San Diego. Previously, the state of California has recognized this flag, the heritage flag, as the flag of the Vietnamese community. We respectfully request that our story be included in the school curriculum and that it incorporates the stories of the resilience and triumphs of the Vietnamese community, of the refugees who are residing here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Greg Haskin, Fountain Valley. My wife, Carrie, who wishes she could be here today, is principal of Starview Elementary School in Westminster. Starview is fortunate to have a number of staff and community volunteers that organize lessons on a regular basis every year dealing with the history and the culture of the Vietnamese people. And this is seen as a tremendous community asset. Just a few years earlier, she was principal at a neighboring school, same school district just a few miles away. They didn't have these resources, and they didn't have anything really to offer in terms of the history and the culture of the Vietnamese people or the Vietnamese American experience. Had SB 895 been in place, had this curriculum been available, they would have gladly used that in their school there. And even today at Starview Elementary School, by the way, Starview is a newly honored distinguished school, so there are wonderful resources there from the community. But even today, rather than using the improvised lessons that they've put together, they would much prefer to have a standardized, organized curriculum that would be offered under SB 895. The Vietnamese American community has done a beautiful job of assimilating to our society. They brought tremendous resources to us in so many ways, but they have a very rich and valuable culture that we should all learn more about. We would benefit from learning more about that, and we would be a much richer community altogether, especially in these areas where we have such strong levels of Vietnamese American populations. Having that understanding really goes a long ways to building a much more productive community. So I'm here today to urge your yes vote on SB 895.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support.
Good morning. My name is Tai Do, and I am a police officer for the City of Long Beach for 22 years. My son is a police officer for Long Beach. Thank you for raising here. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to address the committee here. I was a Vietnamese refugee when I was 14 years old. My parents spent their entire life saving, put me on the boat to escape Vietnam. Our journey to freedom, we endured a lot of hardship. We were attacked by Thai fishermen, what we call the so-called pirate. They prey upon our refugees, the vulnerable Vietnamese refugees. I stayed in the refugee camp for 2 years and immigrated to the United States when I was 17. Had no money in my pocket. America have welcomed me with open arms and given me an opportunity to have an education, have a proud career as a law enforcement officer. I used to work 3 jobs, 8 to 5 at the mail room, go to school at night, get up at 4 in the morning, deliver newspaper. On the weekend, working as a janitor, cleaning banks and office to make extra money. Well, the reason that I come here to support SB 895 because as a police officer, I have to communicate with the public. And we all know about the golden rules, right? To treat people the way we want to be treated. But the thing is, the problem is with the 93 languages spoken in California, we cannot treat people the way we want to be treated because that might be offensive to other people. The Zen master Tiết once said, understanding is a foundation of love. We have to understand our people so that we can communicate effectively. So the golden rule is not good enough for me. I have to learn how to communicate effectively. And my great mentor, who was a retired Los Angeles Sheriff Lieutenant, Mike Drift, he taught me to treat people the way they want to be treated. In order for you to treat people the way they want to be treated, you have to understand them. You have to understand the fear and frustration. You have to understand the suffering. You have to understand the culture. So it's very important that we have to, the American have to understand the Asian, the Vietnamese American who have contributed and enriched socially, culturally, economically for California after 43 years. And that's why I would like to ask the committee to support SB 895.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Additional witnesses in support.